Welcome to today's webinar, Hire This Person, Qualities of Top ISA Talent with MAPS Coach Anna Krueger. Please note this meeting is being recorded and will be available within 24 hours on the MAPS YouTube channel. We will share the link in the chat momentarily. Currently, everyone's on mute. However, we do value group participation, so we ask that if you have any questions for Anna, please type them into the chat box. Following the meeting, if you have any questions about today's call or our other coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. And that's all for me, Anna. Take it away.
All right, guys. So welcome. Nice to see you. I just put into the chat box, if you would tell us where you're from. Also, I did not say this, but what your role is, and then what you want to learn from today's webinar. I'm curious, are you looking to hire? Do you already have a bunch of people hired and you're just looking to maybe make sure you hired the right people? So tell me what brought you here today and what you're looking to learn. And then I do have a request. There are currently 21 people on here and I only see 3 people's faces. So if you are able to turn on your camera, I would love to see your faces. It's so much more energizing when I can actually see you. So I would appreciate it if you're able to turn on your camera. Hey, Sue, we gained another one. Yay. All right, so let's jump in. First, let me introduce myself, and then we'll jump into the content for today. So I know what it's like to be in class and think, who is this person? Why am I listening to her? So let me give a little background, and then we'll jump into what you're looking for when you hire an inside sales agent. So I started doing inside sales in 2006, and it was honestly the last thing I ever thought I would do, and it turns out I really like it. Still doing it today. And I started coaching and leading ISAs in 2008. So my goal today is help you learn from a lot of my failures, I have the hiccups, what to do, what not to do, basically help short circuit some of the pain that I've experienced hiring ISAs. The first 2 I ever hired did not work out. And I'll share with you some of why that happened so you can avoid some of those failures. Sound good? All right, so let's jump in. I'm actually just going to share a slide straight out of the class, how to hire, train, and retain inside sales agents. So we have a 5-week class on this, and we're going to go over one of the slides today out of like 100 some slides. So what are we looking for in an inside sales agent? So first, let's just define what is an inside sales agent. That is a common question we have of what is ISA? What does that mean? Who is that person? So first, inside sales agent technically, and I say technically for a reason, technically this person deals with inbound leads to the team. So if you would either unmute yourself or use the chat box, what are inbound leads? What sources would those be? And think the idea is they submitted their information somehow. Y'all are so quiet today. Yeah, website leads. It could be also an open house. So they walked into the open house. Yeah, sign call, Zillow, you guys got it. Totally. Tracy, I'm from Baltimore. Nice to meet you. Same place. All right. Yeah. I like how Maxine said it. Any form of advertising or marketing that generates traffic to your phone or website. That is a great definition right there. So yeah, Maxine, thank you. So inbound technically means any lead that's coming into you that you did not have to generate by calling outbound. Technically, outbound sales agent means I'm making outbound dials, and I like to say to the unsuspecting. So if I'm calling expired leads or for sale by owner leads, which by the way, are you seeing more of those lately? They are coming back, which I'm really excited about. If you're calling a neighborhood or if you're calling around an open house, all of those would be considered outbound lead sources. So I'm calling out to the unsuspecting. For ease, we call it ISA, because it's just faster. And honestly, the way it's practically used in the world of real estate is it just refers to the person who's doing both. So if I'm calling inbound, if I'm calling outbound, I'm actually really both is what I am. And so that's what we're going to use for this purpose today. Think of it this way, is their job is full-time lead generation, lead conversion. That's really what this is. So if you're looking for someone to be a full-time lead generator, lead converter, that's exactly what this is that person. It's their one thing. How many of you were at Mega Camp? Or you watched it digitally, perhaps? Gary Keller from stage talked about shift tactic 4. If you remember, he talked about a lot. So if you don't remember, I'll refresh your memory. But he talked about shift tactic 4, which was the lead generation. And did you hear him say, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm not going to get it exactly word for word, but did you hear him say that right now your laser focus needs to be lead generation, lead conversion? And I'm curious, how many of you would say, oh my gosh, I'm already at my max. I don't know how to add more hours. I'm out servicing clients. I do not know how to add more hours in my day in order to do that lead gen, lead conversion. That could be part of the reason to hire this person. It is an investment. It's a financial investment. Yet when you hire the right person, they will give you so much money back. It'll be a very worthy investment. So it is true, especially in the shift right now, we need people on our team who their one thing is lead gen, lead conversion. And that might be you, that might be agents on your team, or it might be that you're hiring an inside sales agent. But I think right now is a great opportunity to get someone who can just take this part of the business and run with it. So that brings us to today's topic of what are you looking for? So this is not a unicorn role. A lot of people think, who would do this full time? How many of you have thought that? Who would do full-time lead gen, lead conversion? I hear that a good bit. Can I tell you what I think as an inside sales agent? Who would want to write contracts on a Sunday? Who would want to drive around buyers all day? I see two of you really nodding your head at me. Yeah. So we just have to remember there's a role for everyone, and different personalities are going to be attracted to different things. The thing that to you sounds like, oh, why would anyone want to do that? Someone out there is thinking, oh man, I would love that job. So you just have to find them. You have to find that person. So the first thing I'll say is you want to make sure you find someone who thinks and acts like a rainmaker, honestly. Can we all just agree in the true sense of the term rainmaker? Forget how we use it in real estate. Rainmakers do what? They make it rain money, right? Like we forget that because we use rainmaker as such a formal term, but it's kind of started off as slang as people who just make it rain money, right? You're hiring someone who's going to make it rain money. This is not an entry-level position. This is a position that when you have the right person, many times we see they become your director of sales over time as they grow the department. I mean, this is a high-level, high-thinking person who is really going to be the driver of the business. They are essentially a rainmaker, truly a rainmaker. So what are you looking for? Well, here are some top qualities to look for, and then I'll open it up to questions. And again, this is just a slide right out of the class, how to hire, train, and retain ISAs. It's taking a minute to load. While it's loading, do not hop off the call when we get towards the end, because I have a discount code for anyone looking to take the class. I've only mentioned it on this webinar. I haven't told anyone else about it. Is it still loading for you all too, or is that just my screen? Okay. I'm not sure why that took so long, but now it's here and we're not even on the right slide. So give me just a second. Okay, how do I identify talent? So the first thing we're looking for is someone who enjoys a challenge. And if it doesn't load, I'll just read it off to you, that's fine. But we're looking for someone who enjoys a challenge. And the idea is this is someone who really in an 8-hour day, roughly 6 will be spent in lead gen, lead conversion. That's about the right percentage, is 75% of their day they're talking to leads. And if you think about it, a very talented ISA will bring you 2 appointments a day. 2 appointments a day. But when I say appointment, I mean I've screened them, they're ready, willing, and able. Not they have a heartbeat and they stayed on the phone with me for 5 minutes. That's not an appointment. An appointment is I talk to them for probably about 10 to 15 minutes. I ask them all the pre-qualifying questions. They're ready, willing, and able, and it makes sense to meet with this person. A talented ISA will bring you roughly 10 appointments a week, 5 to 10, depending, based off that definition of appointment. Well, can we talk about this for just a minute? Can we just acknowledge that means in a 40-hour work week, they get 2-ish people a day to say yes to them. That is almost comical when you think about it, right? Think about the amount of people that say, no, I'm not ready. Don't call me again. Or yeah, maybe in 6 months. If you do not have someone who enjoys a challenge, that is going to be a real issue. They need to get some energy around how am I going to win this person over? When I used to call expired lead sources, which we are seeing come back, I'm really excited about it. However, when I used to call expireds, let's say I'm talking to Mackenzie and Mackenzie is being kind of standoffish. what would run through my head is, I'm going to make Mackenzie like me by the time we hang up. I'm not sure how yet. I am going to get her laughing, and I'm going to make her like me by the time we hang up. And it was almost like this fun mental banter in my head of how can I get in Mackenzie's head to make her like me before we hang up? That's the kind of person you're looking for. Does that make sense? How many of you, because a lot of you here are sales agents or rainmakers, how many of you would say, I'm like that? I go to a party and I see someone a little standoffish and I'm like, bingo, talking to you. Several of you are typing in or raise your hand. That's me. Now, you don't have to be exactly like that to be a good inside sales agent, right? There's other qualities, but that is a common quality of people that are really good in this role. The next thing that we're looking for, and I see some questions in the chat box. We'll get to those before we're done. The next thing we're looking for is a relationship builder. So we want someone who understands the concept that this is a long-term process. I might talk to Darla today. She might not turn into an appointment for about 8 months. And that's okay. I'm just going to stay in touch with Darla. I'm going to follow through. I'm going to keep chatting with her. And I'm going to build a relationship with Darla so that when she's ready, it's not even a thought in her mind to work with anyone else other than our team. You want someone that has that ability. So think through, who do you know in your community that's really good at talking to people and a really good relationship builder? I know someone right now, as I asked you the question, the name Allison popped in my head. Just by asking you, I thought of someone. And I know Allison enough to know that she is a stay-at-home mom, and that's what she wants to do. She's actually said, if I were to go back into the work world, your team is a team I would want to partner with. So I already know this. But Allison is going to know people like Allison, right? So be thinking, who do you know in your sphere, your community that's a relationship builder? And even if they themselves are not currently looking for a position, who might they know that's a lot like them that they could refer to you? You want to be thinking about that. By the way, one quick thing I want to say, how many of you have a past career that when you left it, people were surprised? What? She was looking for another job? I had no idea. And maybe people were like, where did that come from, Sheila? We didn't even know you were thinking of leaving. So don't cross people off because they have a career. The person you're looking for likely is already working somewhere. Can we all just agree, and I know this is a broad statement, there are definitely exceptions, but can we all just agree that high-level players that are go-getters, that are talented, are probably working right now? They probably have a job somewhere, most likely. And again, there are always exceptions, but most likely the person you're looking for already has a job. So don't rule them out because they're currently employed. They could be a great fit. And they might say, I can't believe you approached me. I've actually been thinking about this for a while. Just this morning, guys, I put on Facebook that I needed help with an Excel document. And in my head, I was like, I have got to hire an assistant. I haven't had one for a couple months and I'm feeling the pain. Can anybody relate to that? I'm like, I'm supposed to be teaching and I am editing an Excel document and I want to poke my eyeballs out. I've got to hire someone. So I put on Facebook, I need help with an Excel document. I will hire someone to do one project for me. Just reach out to me. Someone from my church called me, very high level thinking person. She is currently employed. She said, I'll help you with that Excel document. Also, I really admire you and I would be interested in partnering with you in business if you have an opportunity. It was more words than that, but that's the essence. I had no idea. I would have never thought to approach her. And so it was a lesson to me this morning of just because someone's employed, just because someone you might think is even out of your league to partner with, you never know who's observing you. You never know who might be open just because they're currently employed. Okay. All right. Next, you're looking for someone who's results oriented. You want someone who is very aware of, yes, my job is to talk to people. My actual job is to bring closings. They understand the team does not get paid if we do not have closings. So my job entails talking to people every day, but actually what my job is to bring the team closings. So you want someone who is results oriented and they understand the long game of real estate. And it's kind of twofold. This is someone who's going to be aware of the result you need, which is the closing, but they're also going to be relatively patient to understand that might mean I do a lot of follow-up. So you're looking for someone who gets the big picture, who they get the business idea of what I'm doing today will pay off later, and I need to keep pushing through. This is huge. This is actually one of my biggest things, is they need to have a teachable spirit. If someone does not have a teachable spirit, we have got problems. We have problems. You might have heard me say this if you've been on these webinars before, but it's worth mentioning again for the new people. We were hiring someone and I gave them a script, and I just said, all that we're going to do in our next interview is just go over the script. So take it home. I didn't tell him exactly what to do because I wanted to see what he would do. But in my head, I was like, I would love for him to show up, not have to have it in front of him, and be able to role play with me. That's what I wanted. Or at least not have to read it word for word and be able to role play with me. And I gave enough time that he could have done that if he wanted to. Do you know what he said in our next interview? There was no memorization. There was no understanding of this script. What he said is, I didn't like that script, so I rewrote it. I did not think that would work. And it was actually one of our great scripts. We knew it worked. It was a wonderful script. Well, that right away, Tanya just went like this. Exactly. Right away, it was, this is not the right person, because we need someone that has a teachable spirit. By the way, we need to have teachable spirits. You're on this webinar, so you probably do, right? But we all of us need to recognize, I do not know everything and I still have a lot to learn. And when you're in that headspace, that puts you in a great position to be a great leader. So we need to have teachable spirits, and certainly the person we're hiring and getting into business with, they also need to have a teachable spirit. And then the last thing I'll mention is a high sense of urgency. What kills me is when I'm shadowing an inside sales agent and they hang up the call and then they slowly type in their notes and then they pull up the next lead and they read the entire history and then they make a dial. That is not a good sign. And here's part of why. A good pickup rate is about 1 out of 4. So if I am taking 2 minutes every lead to take notes, read about the next one, and only 1 out of 4 people pick up the phone on a good day, can you see how much time I'm going to lose? So we want someone who's very fast paced. They probably have a little bit of nervous energy in the interview. And honestly, if they were to call you and say, hey, did you get my references yet? Or, hey, I just wanted to follow up. I know we had our first interview. What's the next step? That's a good sign. A high sense of urgency. And I'll be honest, it can be a little annoying when you're hiring and you've got like 25 people that applied and you're trying to manage everyone. But I actually like it when they're, hey, Tanya, did you get my resume? Just checking. That's actually a good sign, even if it might be a little much. That is actually what you want. Okay. All right. So those are the main things we're looking for. And I'll add one more, and I know it sounds kind of like a Hallmark card, but I think this is really important. They should feel like a friend pretty quickly. So if I'm interviewing with Sue and I'm the ISA and she's the person thinking about hiring me, Sue, you should pretty quickly feel like, I like her. I like her personality. I feel super comfortable with her. Because if you think about it, you're hiring someone to make a first impression for your business. Guys, hear this. This is so important. You are hiring someone to make a first impression for your business. And do you know how many seconds we have to make a first impression? I mean, I'm seeing people hold up 3, 5. It's less than 10 seconds to make a first impression. So even if I'm interviewing, I actually like that people tend to be nervous during an interview process, because I want someone who's a little nervous to still feel like a friend. Does that make sense? I used to dismiss people that were a little stiff on the phone. I'm like, well, they're probably just nervous. We're interviewing. They're probably a little nervous. And then it hit me. They're probably gonna be nervous calling expireds. They're probably gonna be nervous calling sign calls. They're probably gonna be nervous doing a lot of things. So even when they're nervous, can they show up relaxed, like a friend, quick rapport? And that is a quality that you are looking for. Okay. Let's look at questions. Before I do questions, that does conclude the learning portion of today's webinar, other than the questions. But I do want to let y'all know, we have a class starting Thursday that does 5 weeks of this. And we go over hiring, we go over how to pay them, we go over licensed versus unlicensed. But here's the thing, if I can be honest with you, So many people ask me where to find an ISA, and that's actually not what I want people to ask me. Do you want to know what I want them to ask me? How do I keep a talented ISA? And yes, I know we need to ask both. Yet it's very disproportionate. Where do I find them? Where do I find them? Where do I find them? I'm having a hard time keeping them. I'm having a hard time keeping them. And my thought is ask a different question. Where do I find them? And then how do I keep them on my team? So in the 5-week class, we spend about 1.5 classes on the hiring part and the compensation part. And then the entire rest of the class is how to keep them, how to lead them, what kind of metrics to expect from them. And then the 5th week is totally Q&A. So it's everything that I didn't cover that you wish that you had heard, ask. I think I cover everything you need to know in 4 weeks, but I give an extra week for just anything else that I didn't get to. What do you want to know? And that's the 5th week. The classes are recorded. And here, this is just for you guys. I haven't told anyone else about this. If you look in the chat box, it says capital WEB 15 for Web 15. When you enter that, when you sign up, you'll get a 15% discount. Okay. Rodrigo, could you put the link to the class in the chat box? But you'll get a 15% discount, and it is $199 minus whatever 15% is. Anybody know? I'm not that quick. Somebody tell us in the chat box, what is that total? But yeah, $199 minus 15%, Web 15 is your code. Okay. 30. Yeah. I mean, think about that, guys. To hire, how much does it cost you to hire the wrong person? That just will make you sick to your stomach. Think of the culture impact and how it brings down other people on the team. When we do not have the right person on the team, it pulls down others. So even if it was $499, this class would be worth taking. And I would say that no matter who is teaching it. It's not because I'm teaching it, it's the content, not the teacher. It's the content. Okay, so $199, Web 15 will get you 15% off, which is $30. Okay. Let me read the questions here. Oh yeah, every class is recorded. So if you miss it, you can hop in and watch the recording, no problem. I love to see you live, but you can watch the recording. I know you all have closings and things like that. That's fine. Okay, so let's look through questions. It looks like a bunch of you like my dog. Thank you very much. She will also be in the How to Hire, Train, and Retain ISA class. She could probably teach it if I'm out sick, actually. All right, what questions do we have? Oh, William said 2 appointments a day by circle prospecting. No, circle prospecting, can I be really blunt with y'all? I'm about to have a strong opinion. And you don't have to agree with me, it's fine. Circle calling is a good source. And that's, if you don't know, that's where you pick a neighborhood and basically call around the neighborhood, circle call the neighborhood. And really what you're doing is you're calling people out of the blue. They're at home watching TV and you're like, hey, do you want to buy or sell? That's the gist of it. That takes 100 contacts to set one. Most other lead sources take 20 contacts to set one. So circle prospecting usually pays off in year 2. You'll find some people that'll do something now. The overwhelming majority will be just adding to the database, and year 2, 3, and 4 is where it pays off. So we actually discourage circle prospecting to be the only lead source. You really want to have your ISA calling roughly 5 different sources. Circle could be one of them, but it is one of the slowest returns, truly. If you have no database whatsoever and you're just trying to build it, that would be a good time to circle call. All right, I think that answers that question. William says, why wouldn't that person go out and be a solo agent? Well, I'll tell you my answer, and what a lot of people say that I coach. I do not want the job of real estate agent. And guys, that is the truth. I don't want to write contracts on Sunday. I like to travel. I like to go out of town. I am the coach, and I'll tell you if you ever work with me, because I believe in modeling the behavior you want, that I also want for you. I think we should time block our time off. When I am not coaching on a weekend, I turn my Google Voice on Do Not Disturb. And all of my coaching clients know if you call me on a weekend, I will not pick up, but I will go as soon as I log in and see it, I'll get back to you. And everyone has always respected that because they're like, I want that. Well, that's part of why I don't want to be an agent. I do not want the schedule that a lot of you have. Now, some of you love this schedule because it's unexpected, right? Like, it is Sunday and I did not know I would be driving around people today. I love the spontaneity of this position. And that's your personality. That's not mine. Make sense? So there are people, and also circumstances could cause them to want the job. When I was an inside sales agent, I was the full-time caretaker for a cancer patient who was stage 4 for 11 years. So I knew I do not have the capacity to be a real estate agent, but I love real estate and I like sales. I could be an inside sales agent. And that is actually the reason that I became an inside sales agent, was it's what allowed me to take care of my mom when she was sick. So I couldn't have joined your team. If you told me to be an agent, I would have said, that's not going to work. Inside sales agent, perfect. So look for people that have circumstances, or they love sales, but they want the schedule. They want the schedule. All right, let's see. Realtor attention deficit disorder. I don't know what prompted that comment, Sheila, in the chat box. Rad, realtor attention deficit disorder, but that's hilarious. Oh, because a lot of you liked my dog. That's funny. I like her too. How long do the recordings last uploaded? 60 days after the last class. So it's really a 1-month class. We'll meet every Thursday in September, starting this Thursday, every Thursday. And then add 2 months to that. You really get 3 months of access for the 1 month of class. Okay. So that gives you plenty of time to watch it, rewatch it if you need to. That's fine. Oh, I see Rodrigo answered that. What do we enter as salesperson? Sheila, did you get that answered? I'm wondering if that's, oh, you're on the contract.
I'm just trying to sign up, and it's a mandatory field is saying salesperson, and I was looking for your name, but it's not there, or bold mastery coach or MAPS staff or NA.
What should they put, Rodrigo?
You could leave it as NA.
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And is the ISA name and ISA email, is that if there's somebody currently working?
Rodrigo?
I believe you can leave those blank.
Yeah, we can. I just wondered. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Denise said, what are the 5 sources? So I think, and by the way, Sheila, I'm excited to see you on Thursday. Can I pause for a moment? I love what I do, in case you can't tell. Can you all tell I like teaching webinars? I get really excited. But you know what happens? If I don't have any students, I don't get to teach webinars. That's what happens. So I always really, truly am so appreciative when someone signs up for my class, because you're giving me some job security that I can teach. Like, I get to keep doing what I love. So thank you for signing up. I really appreciate it. Okay, what are the 5 sources? So I had mentioned inside sales agents should be calling 5 sources. And by the way, that's agents too. Agents, we all should be having about 5 sources. The answer, Denise, if you're hiring an inside sales agent, I would look at, in your past, what have been the top 5 sources for closings for your team? And then ask yourself, on a scale of 0 to 10, how effectively are we working them? And anything that's below a 10, start there. So before you add new lead sources, start with the ones that have worked for your team in the past. What I find is most people need help with whoever is already in their database before they go adding new people. And by the way, we do have a class for the inside sales agent, and actually agents, the class is about 50% agents. It's called Mastering Inside Sales. And that class teaches the conversion piece. So just know, once you hire them, there's this like, how do I train this person? And let me help you. I've been doing this since 2006, almost 16 years, is that? So I will help you. And if you want to get better at conversion, you can take that class too. The website for both of these is isamapscoaching.com. You'll see both classes there. Let's see. I think I've answered all of these. They can call past clients, Donna. Absolutely. They can really call anyone. Here's the thing. I hear people say, ooh, I don't know if I trust my ISA to call that lead source. And that's not what you've said, Donna. You prompted a thought. And my thought is, if you've hired someone that you're not comfortable calling certain leads, you have not hired the right person. You want to hire someone who is so good with people that, yeah, they need some training. But once they've had training, they could call them just as good as you could, or better, because that's their one thing, right? Honestly, this person within 6 months should be the best lead generator on the entire team, because that is all that they do all day. You guys, and it's because you have other things. You are out writing offers. Guys, I actually am about to buy a rental property, and I am a licensed realtor. And do you know what I'm doing? I hired a realtor. I have an agent because I recognize I have never written an offer. I have sold real estate since 2013 as an inside sales agent. You want me to generate a lead for you? Get out of my way. You actually need to write a contract? Please help me. I do not know what I'm doing. So the point I'm making is we all have our specialty, right? And so the ISA should be the best person on the entire team for setting appointments. So if you have a lead source that you're like, I don't know if I trust them to call that lead source, that's a sign you either haven't trained them or you haven't hired the right person. Somebody private messaged me, and I'll just say it out loud because I think it'll help everyone, is I need to learn ISA. And if you mean like I need to learn how to convert leads, I would take Mastering Inside Sales. Truly, we teach the art of relationship-based sales. This is my little, this is in no formal marketing, but would you like to know what I say about that class? I teach you how to not be an obnoxious salesperson. That's what that class is. So we go over, how do you leave a voicemail that gets a call back? How do you open a call and handle it if someone's like, I'm busy, can you call me later? They are not busy. They just picked up the phone. How do you navigate that? How do you get their motivation? How do you track your numbers? Everything lead gen, lead conversion related is in that class. Someone just messaged me about connecting. Email me. Let me put my email in there. And here's what I'll say. People will frequently say, can I have 5 or 10 minutes? And the schedule is quite full. I just looked, I have like 2 weeks where there's barely any time anywhere. So here's what I would ask you. Email me at that email address and put your very specific questions in there. And then I'll either reply with answers, I'll send you a video, or we'll schedule a call just depending on what it is that you're asking. Is that good? Because I'm happy to help. My heart is to help you. And there are limited hours. And so the more detailed you can be with what you need, the better. Jacqueline, your current ISA can take that class. The only thing I would say is if your ISA is unlicensed, make sure they're very clear on what to use from class. So for example, I give them day 1, a buyer seller pre-qualification sheet. Well, if they're unlicensed, they may not be able to ask all the questions on the sheet. And I tell them this in class. I tell them over and over to the point it's almost humorous. If you are unlicensed, check with your local state. If you are unlicensed, check with your broker. But I want to make sure you're protected. So when people are unlicensed, they definitely will benefit from the class. Just make sure you are guiding them on what parts to use or disregard, okay? Also, in Mastering Inside Sales, you can have 2 people per class, per registration. So if you have an ISA in Honduras, take it with them. You get 2 people per 1 registration for Mastering Inside Sales. And I'll tell you what, Rodrigo, don't kill me. Y'all can use Web 15 for that class too. Is that okay? That class is $199 a month for 6 months. So that'll take 15% off each month for 6 months. Okay. All right, there are 2 different classes. How to hire, train, and retain ISAs starts this Thursday. It is 5 weeks, $199 with a discount. Add in the 15% off. That's for the leader. The totally separate class is for anyone who wants to improve lead generation, lead conversion. And that one actually started in August, but we've recorded all the sessions and we still have 5 months left. That one is called Mastering Inside Sales. And we've talked about renaming it. It is not just for inside sales agents. We probably should call it like Mastering Lead Generation and Conversion, because it's for agents and ISAs. So Rodrigo, maybe we should talk about that. But it really is not just for inside sales agents. It's Mastering Lead Generation and Conversion is what that class is. Okay, we are over time and I want to respect your time and Rodrigo's time. I think I got everybody. But yeah, if you have any other questions, you can definitely email me, mapscoachanna@gmail.com. Just do me a favor and put as much detail as possible, not just, hey, can we connect? Because a lot of times I can create a video and send it to you, or there's a 30-minute webinar that addresses the question, and then I'll know who do I need to schedule with based off your question. Sound good? I'm pre-qualifying you. I'm joking. Shouldn't the ISA coach know how to pre-qualify people? I'm joking with you, but you know what I'm talking about. All right, guys. My dog and I will see you hopefully on Thursday, or on Wednesday's Mastering Inside Sales classes. Tomorrow, we're talking expireds and FSBOs. That's tomorrow in that other class. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
Anna.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye, guys.